Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Felicity here, and today I'm going to do a review on Sola Busca Tarot published by Lo Scarabeo. So I got the limited edition, and right now they also offer the normal version of this deck. And here is the box. It's a very sturdy box, and I feel that the cardstock is really nice. The card is a bit large if you have small hands, and I'm so glad that Lo Scarabeo bring this back, because there are other same version that is published by other publisher that fetch a high price. So I'm so glad that Lo Scarabeo published this deck and set it the affordable price. And so I'm so glad. And so I feel that a lot of you have heard of this deck. This is a historical deck, and it's published or illustrated during the Renaissance period, and it stayed in the Italian family for a long time. And so you can Google it, you can find a lot of information about it. So I'm not going to repeat the information that can be found online. And what I'm going to say is that maybe some of you feel that there are a lot of images that evoke some kind of horror. It's like a horrible image to you. Maybe it's very cruel. But I feel that to really study tarot, you have to really understand the usage of tarot, and I feel that the tarot mirrors the reality, and it's not about dreamy, wonderful world that depicted in the tarot cards. It's about reality. It's about survival. It's about going through the survival period and finally understand the compassion that a human has, and it's also about understanding about the higher meaning of life instead of the lower sector of life, such as survival, sex, reproduction, that kind of thing. So at first glance you may feel that a lot of cards that has been illustrated in this deck depict a lot of cruelty, horror images, but I feel that it's the reflection of reality. Just sometimes we do not see the horror images. It doesn't mean that it doesn't exist in this world, alright? So even though in modern days there are a lot of cruelty going on in the world, it is not happening in the city, in the countries that you are living in, doesn't mean that they don't exist. So it's very real. To me, this deck is very real, and it's also very level-headed as well. When you use this deck, you feel that it's not about those kind of dreamy, romantic quality that you will find in other decks. Instead, it's about level-headed. It's about a little bit of analytical thinking, critical thinking. It's also about a little bit of politics as well, because I feel that in the old days, the families, the powerful family, will have the tarot deck, and they use the tarot deck to find answer, to seek answer to in the area of politics. Okay, because in the old days, a lot of powerful families, it's all about politics, whether it's marriage, whether it's a business, whether it's gaining a social standing. It's all about politics. So this deck, you get a feeling that it will help you understand certain policy, certain politics, all right? And so when you use this deck to do a romantic reading, to do a romantic love reading, you find that the advice that has been given to from this deck, it's very level-headed. It gives you the advice like, okay, life should not be always surrounded with focus only on romantic love. It's like a politician telling you that there's more to life than just romance and those kind of dreamy fairy tales. So it's very real. The advice given to you is very real, and it's very level-headed. So clear your mind. If you find yourself in a dreamy state, try to clear your mind with this deck, okay? Or if you always dreaming about fairy tales and if you're not a really realistic person, use this deck to help you gain a realistic perspective on life, on romance, okay? And also, yeah, some of you may feel that because this is the historical deck, you feel that you may do a lot of research before using it. My advice is that you can start using it, because oftentimes once you start using something, and then the universe or your spirit guides will help you interpret the cards and will help you see different perspectives, different interpretations of a certain image. So to me, I do not feel that you have to do research, gain meaning from certain symbols, study alchemy, study the pagan symbols, or study the historical people, historical politicians or warriors that has been depicted on this deck. Yes, of course, if you can do that, fine, it's very great. If you can do that, you can write beautiful papers about this deck. I'm sure that if you do your research, you can write papers, academic papers about this deck, okay? But it is not a must. It is not a must to do research before using this deck. My approach is that oftentimes I find myself start using the deck and then along the way, okay, the universe or my spirit guides will help me gain a lot of perspectives, gain a lot of knowledge, just by me starting to do something, okay? So you do not need to wait till you accomplish certain things, or till you do the complete research before using this deck. And also, what else? Yes, so for this deck, I'm going to use the pagan way of looking at this deck. I'm going to use pagan perspective of looking at this deck. To me, pagan means, the certain spiritual practice, certain rituals that has been practiced in the village by villagers, okay? So there are images that I'm going to explain to you why I do not see it as cruelty, okay? It's not human sacrifice at all. Even though you feel like at first glance it's about human sacrifice, okay, this or that, it's about killing or this or that. But to me, when you understand the pagan's perspective, and you will understand a lot of things, okay, because it evokes some kind of mythology, mythical stories that you can find behind this deck. Alright, so now let's look at certain cards, and I will tell you my own interpretation of certain cards. Let's see. Okay, so let's first look at this card. At first glance, you may think that, oh, this is a horrible image. It's very cruel. It's about killing, human sacrifice, and things like that. But when I first look at this kind of image that we feel that it's cruel, I often, take a second glance, take a second look at it, and not to judge the image. And I find out that you know, what kind of mythical story that evoked in this image. Certainly there's the story of Achilles' mother. Okay, if you Google about the story of Achilles, you know, it's half god, half human, and his mother is actually some kind of practice, maybe some kind of spiritual practice, some kind of ritual, empower some kind of magic. And knowing that the fate of Achilles, you know, the fate, the destiny of Achilles is that he will become famous in the war, but at the same time, he has some kind of weakness that make him bring death to him. Okay, so this is the story. And so knowing that, as Achilles' mother know the fate and the destiny of her son, and for the protection's sake, Achilles' mother actually, you know, hold the feet of Achilles, of the baby Achilles, and dip him into the water. As the water possess some kind of magical power, hopefully it can make him invincible and make him very powerful, make him immortal almost. All right. And so imagine that you do not know this background story, and you only know, you know, as you walk along the seaside, along the beach, and you see this woman holding a baby's feet and then dipping this baby, the full body almost deep into the water, and then you feel that, okay, this woman is killing the baby. But if you know the context, if you know about the practice, and you will not feel that it's cruel. Okay, it's all about perception. It's about perception, your perspectives. And so when you know about the pagan perspectives, and you know that, okay, hopefully, probably the mother knows that Achilles full of fire. Okay, the fire energy is powerful. It ignites, and it's you know, when it breaks out, the temper breaks out. It breaks out. And so hopefully by dipping Achilles into the water, and it helps him soften the fire side of him, the impulsiveness of him, because water is gentle, it's patience, it's gentle, and it can cut through things, it can cut through rocks, but at the same time water takes a long time to cut through rocks. So it's about patience, it's not about impulse. So hopefully, you know, this kind of practice by dipping the baby Achilles into the water, it brings gentleness, it also brings purification, and also protection, you know. So, and this image, why do I relate it to that? I feel that this, you know, this baby may be born in a military family. You know, the father, grandfather works in the military sector, and they find out that from the birth chart or something, they find out that this baby lacks fire. It's too gentle almost, and so they need to put him go over the fire. You know, in some kind of practice, people worship fire, and people may worship, you know, they need to walk on fire, not walk on fire, walk on the heated charcoal, you know, in the heated charcoal, and it's like a ritual to make themselves stronger. So probably this baby was born into a military family, and so as a military family, probably when this baby grow up, he needs to face, you know, he needs to be a warrior. But in the birth chart, it shows that this baby lacks fire elements. Maybe it contains a lot of water element, a lot of gentleness. So in order to bring him the fire element into this baby's life, they put him going over the fire, just like the mother of Achilles does, you know. just like the mother of Achilles dip the baby Achilles into the water. In this case, is the lacking of the fire element. And I feel that it's also about protection. You know, you see this, it is a shield, right? It's a shield, so it's also about protection as well. Hopefully this baby grow up strong and be able to serve in the military sector. Okay, and because you know why I feel that it's not cruel, it's because you look at the facial expression. If you have the card, take out the card and look at the facial expression. It's about concern, the look of concern. Or maybe, okay, of course you can say that this is not, this person is it's ordered by his senior, by his boss to do this kind of killing. Of course he shows some kind of concerns, but of course you can say it. I'm not going to argue with you, but you know, this image help me understand the story of Achilles. And also maybe they also pay tribute to Achilles. You know why? Because in the ancient Rome, there are families that they are well off, powerful family that also worship Achilles. They worship some gods and goddesses or some kind of famous people depicted in the mythical story. All right, so there are people that worship the warriors, the famous warrior Achilles. Okay, so you can say that this is the tribute. This image is the tribute to Achilles. But why do you not see the water? But of course, it's you know, it's a little bit of twist, a twist to the story, and so that's why I see in a different way. It's also about rebirth as well. You know, the baby, you know, it's the baby signified newborn. The baby signify new beginnings. So going through fire, it's like the phoenix, like the phoenix rises from the ashes of the fire. Okay, so it's also about rebirth to me. So that's why I see in this way. And yes, so whenever we see something that we feel uncomfortable looking at, we need to give it a second chance. And here, okay, I'm not going to defend, but here of course you see that it's very cruel. I feel that you know sometimes in the old days when the countries start the war and they will kill the messenger. Okay, this may be the messenger. Okay, the messenger bringing message to the other country, and then the other country doesn't accept the offer, doesn't accept certain kind of things, some certain kind of condition, so they kill the messenger. Okay, so it's cruel. I can see that in ancient times, in the old days, there's a certain kind of practice like this, killing the messenger and chop off the head and bring him back to the sender, so that the sender understand that okay, the offer, the condition are not accepted. Probably is the beginning of the war. All right, and you can also say that, interpret in this way. Okay, so this one may be the brother or the relatives of this person, and this person finds out a message before this person die. Okay, this person give this person a message. Okay, this is, you can interpret this way. They are related, they have blood relation, or some belongs to maybe friends, maybe relatives, maybe brothers. Okay, and this one got killed, and then he finds out some kind of message that this one want to convey to him. Okay, and when you talk about magic, maybe you know, I see this, maybe, you know, some people like collecting this. Some hunters, they like to collect this. Sometimes they may not hunt, they just go to a certain forest to pick this up, because sometimes animal die in the forest, then they pick it up and put them into the altar as their ornaments, as the decoration for the altar. It represents nature as well. It represents the slow movement, the slow cycle of nature as well. But of course, people can do a lot of ritual using this kind of the head, the scalp of the animal, right? Of course, people can do that. And this one, I feel like it's about certain ritual, certain kind of ritual that they believe that when they do that, they will bring success to them, or it's about celebration of the defeating of the enemy. It's about celebration of the defeating of the enemy, all right? It may or may not be the real person's head. It can be a person's head, okay? It's cruel, yes, of course, it's cruel. And it can be, you can see this as something like the cruel way of torturing people in order to find out some kind of secret, in order to find out some kind of information, all right? So this person is captured, and then the enemy torture this person, torture him to death to bring out the secret. Maybe this person is strong, is very strong. He didn't give out the secret, and that's why they just kill him this way. All right. You can see that maybe a ritual going on. Okay, but you know, this is very straightforward image. You know, when I see this, I immediately I feel like the advice card is about cover your ass. Cover your ass. This is the advice, all right? And it's about the wrongdoing of the self instead of the outer force. Yes, outer force is very important, but if this person is prepared beforehand, then the loss, the damage will be limited, all right? So this advice card is cover your ass. So it's very straightforward. You know, when I see these cards, I feel like, okay, you know, adding something here, calling out, playing music. I see this card as someone, okay, some people gossiping, because in my culture, when we see that, okay, a story has been repeated, a story has been passed from one to another person, and then we see that they are adding some kind of seasoning into the story. Seasoning means something that is not true, but they would like to add something to the original story to make it feel very vivid. Okay, so when a story repeats itself for 100 times, or when a story passes from one to another person, pass to another person for 100 times, then the original story just lost its flavor, because a lot of people add a lot of details into the original story. So it can be seen as gossip, all right? So okay, here's my interpretation. I hope that it helps you have a other perspective of the cards. And yes, always keep an open mind when seeing the image from tarot. Okay, see you in the next video. Bye bye.